Hi there, so we're looking at ways to let out your property. So self-managing is an option. Another one is using a letting agent. And to be honest, this is normally the way I do it. It's even though they charge me a good chunk of rent to do this, they collect the rent, they liaise with the tenants. I've got no one phoning me up on evenings and weekends. The agent's there to be diplomatic with the tenants, where I sort of get cross. You know, a lot of the problems still come back to me, and quite often I'll go around and fix them. It's and quite often there's maybe a little bit of a tip for some of the landlords out there is, if you do use a letting agent, or even if you're self-managing, don't tell them you're the landlord when you go around, because then they just moan and moan and moan at you about everything. If you think you're just a worker, they generally make you a cup of tea and ignore you and let you get on. Say, I had a problem in the flat a while back. The first 2 days they didn't know I was a landlord. Here's your tea, here's some biscuits, off you go. As soon as they found out I was a landlord, they want to talk to me all the time. What about this? What about that? How does this work? How does that work? Oh, I've got a problem with this. And I'm trying to fix something. And I was losing sort of 2 hours on each day I was there, having to talk to them and fend off problems. So it is a bit of a tip to say you're just a workman and have the managing agent say, we're sending a workman, not the landlord. The other positive about using a let agent as well, they need to be up on regulations. So they'll be making sure gas certificates are done, electrical safety tests are done, and all that, and right to rent checks are done, and the rest of it. So it gives you, again, it's sort of two eyes on the that they're making sure, you're making sure. So hopefully there's no mistakes. Say for example, not having a gas safety certificate done on time. You might be a week late. It could be in that week you have a problem with the boiler that causes a problem for the tenant, and then you get sued. Or because they've not got a gas safety certificate, you can't kick them out because they're not been paying the rent. But without that, there's certain laws in place that prevents you from evicting them. So it's good to have someone check everything for you. And as I mentioned on the last video, you got to have the demeanour for it. I don't totally, because I get cross with them because they tell me silly things. It's I had tenants once. Said, "Oh, the boiler's not working." I said, "I'm sure if you read the instructions for the thermostat, the boiler is working." And they said, no, it's not working. We need an engineer out straight away. I said, I'll send an engineer out. It's not a problem. But if I find it's because you've not read the instructions of the thermostat, which I have given you, I will charge you for that call out. And they said, oh no, don't send someone then. And then the next day, the boiler's not working. Well, what do you want me to do? And it turned out that they just needed to press a button on the thermostat. They needed to read the instructions. So I was fairly justified. There had been difficult tenants in the past, so I suspected it was down to their foolishness rather than actually a problem. But yeah, I want a refusal to do the job. It's just saying, if you can't do it, then we're going to charge you, because why should I have to pay 50 quid to show you someone to press a button when you can read the instructions? So I like to have someone in between they take the flak. They get flak from everyone. I complain about the tenants to them. Tenants complain about the landlord to them as well. So it's but again, it comes down to it. It's a chunk of cash. If you prefer that income and don't mind the extra hassle, then let it yourself. If you're happy to take away that hassle a bit, then yeah, letting agent's better. It's maybe I'll conclude by just saying, because I've got quite a few flats, I can negotiate the letting rates down quite substantially, which helps. And equally, because I've got quite a few flats, there's generally a problem. So it's almost becoming a full-time job for me if I managed it myself, because normally every week there's some kind of problem in one of the flats. I don't know which one, but something will happen, as is the general wear and tear and maintenance of flats. From time to time things happen, so they need a washing machine, the roof has started to leak over there, and so it's less hassle for me if I can get succinctly from one guy of the problems for that week. But that's comes because I've got lots of flats, so if you've only got one or two, then it won't be so much of a problem. So again, it's how much is the time benefit trade-off. It's if you got the time and want the extra money, great. If you haven't got the time and not bothered about the money so much, so it's the trade-off. If time's more important to you, get a letting agent. If the rent's more important to you, then do it yourself. So I hope that was useful. See you on the next one. Bye bye. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Thanks. See you on the next one.